It was an absolutely horrendous, horrifying attack.
Tonight, we're in Barnsley in South Yorkshire.
A woman came running towards me and said, "John has been found dead down at his house." I was absolutely shocked.
The dead man was John Gogarty, a 69-year-old Irishman who lived in the town. His best friend was Joe.
I immediately made a beeline for the property. I got past the police cordon and got to talk to his son. I asked him what had happened. He said, "There's a lot of blood, Joe."
The killer had used extreme violence. Gogarty had been stabbed 69 times in an attack that would have taken several minutes.
John was a property developer originally from Ireland. He was a granddad, he was a dad, and he was known locally as Irish Paddy. He was a popular figure in the local community, and plenty of people knew him and liked him.
When he was drinking, he sometimes would flash the cash, and it could be quite a wad of money. He always said he liked to have a certain amount of money on him. I tried to often tell him, please, don't pull out wads of cash in front of people. It's only laying temptation where it shouldn't be laid. He was surrounding himself with wrong ones who were just parasites who just wanted of him and had nothing to give in return.
So one of the initial lines of inquiry was that John had been targeted for his money.
It was quickly established by the police that Mr. Gogarty had left his local pub, walked home, settled in for the evening, had his slippers on, had the television on. When he'd answered the door, at which stage he'd been attacked.
But John Gogarty was known to be security conscious after being attacked several years earlier and would never open his door to strangers. But it wasn't the first time in Barnsley's history that a murderer had struck.
In 1995, police in Barnsley were investigating the unusual murder of 69-year-old Maurice Hoyle. He'd been found dead in his own home, having been savagely beaten. But Maurice didn't have any enemies, and there was no sign of forced entry.
And police found a number of items were missing, including an expensive watch. And that would lead police to a suspect seen with the watch. His name was Ian Burley.
Burley was known to sleep on the streets, often in the Oakwell area, and he was a drug addict.
Maurice Hoyle had just been out for a normal evening out. I understand that he had visited Barnsley's Trades Club, and either there or perhaps more likely on the way home, he had encountered Ian Burley, and they got chatting and invited Burley into his home. He lost his temper when Maurice Hoyle attempted to kiss him. I think many people felt were greatly relieved when he was brought to justice and indeed given a life sentence.
In 2015, the murder of John Gogarty would bear an eerie resemblance to Barnsley's past.
There were huge similarities between the two cases. Both were men in their 60s, both were killed at home, and both were killed in pretty brutal and horrifying attacks.
Police on this inquiry had found a receipt from a nearby cash point close to John's body, and it appeared that money was the motivation for the murder.
The police released CCTV footage showing a young woman in a hoodie with a baseball cap wrapped up using the cash machine and withdrawing £500 from John Gogarty's account.
As it happens, this led to the public identifying this person, Helen Nichols. Helen Nichols was a drug user. She had been involved in crime, but it was more minor things like shoplifting. She'd never been involved in anything of this nature.